These lakes hold a lot of stories, and all of them get better every time they're told. Because you've got 40-inch gators out there, giant lakers, crappies, sunnies, and walleye. So many walleye. So get ready with the best from clam, otter, Vexlar, hummingbird, garmin, 13 fishing, and many more. The Shields Ice Fishing Sale runs now through December 13th, in-store and online at shields.com. The ice is calling.
This episode of the Flush Podcast is brought to you by North Dakota Tourism. Start planning your next hunting adventure in North Dakota at legendarynd.com. Onyx Hunt, the #1 GPS hunting map app. Onyx, know where you stand. And by Shields, outfit your passion for the outdoors at Shields. Today I'm joined by a hunter named Trent Leichleiter. He operates a world-class bird hunting lodge in Nebraska, and he also runs an organization called KAMO. We'll explain his hunting mission that improves the lives of others. Welcome to another episode of the Flush Podcast. I'm Travis Frank. I'm your host. Brandon Morton is our producer. I hope you're all enjoying the hunting season. It's flying by, and for some of us in the northern part of the country, our days are now numbered. It's amazing how quickly the seasons go. I just returned from filming an elk hunt near the Minnesota-Canadian border for one of our other television shows that I produce, which is why this episode is getting out a day late, so I apologize. When I'm on the road, I do carry my shotgun with me. And I didn't have my dog on this drive back home, but I was passing through an area that I grouse and deer hunt often, and I couldn't pass up the chance to go for a walk. So I hit the woods hoping to flush a rough grouse for dinner. Let me just tell you that if you want to appreciate your dog, try hunting without it. I was the pointer, flusher, shooter, and retriever, and I failed miserably at all of them. I never saw a grouse, which was actually kind of surprising because growing up, I hunted grouse without a dog, and I became fairly successful at it. But yesterday on my brush stomp, I only heard one grouse flush off in the distance. But I'm going to redeem myself next week on a road trip through South Dakota. I'll be filming a late season journey across the state for an episode of The Flush next season, and I'm pretty sure I'll be hunting with a few hunters that will have some interesting insight for us. I'm going to do my best to record a podcast or two next week from the field and hopefully get that out right away. Of course, I'm at the power of the internet wherever we are staying, so I will hopefully be able to get that show to you on time. I'm going to do my best. But anyway, enough about me. My guest today is Trent Leichleiter. Trent, it's hunting season and you're a busy man, so I do appreciate you taking the time today to join us. Are you wearing Blaze Orange right now? And what time are you going to be hitting the field today?
Well, you called me on the best day of the week. It's 50 degrees right now, and the sun's out, the birds are cackling, and you're right, I should be in the field right now. But yes, I am wearing Blaze Orange. I just came in, and we actually got some hunts out going this morning, and they're out in the field, so I'm envious.
Oh, nice. Where do you call home?
So we're in northeast Nebraska, and we're an hour north of Omaha, Nebraska, and an hour south of South Dakota border, or Sioux City, Iowa, right in that area.
Gotcha. So you were one of the owners of Pheasant Bonanza Hunt Club. How long have you guys been running your lodge? And when? What was the reason that you really wanted to start this operation?
Absolutely. So Pheasant Bonanza was started about 17 seasons ago, and about 17 and a half years ago, it was started. And then, like I said, this would be the 17th season of Pheasant Bonanza. I've been here this is my 14th season.
Okay.
So I was still going to college when they were founded. But we have had one ownership change back in 2013. And so that's when I became a partner. But again, I've been here for 14 seasons.
Gotcha. Now, over that time, have you seen any evolution in bird hunters? I mean, is the demand up? Is it down? I mean, I know we're seeing, overall numbers across the country have been declining over the last few decades. Does that apply for you as well?
Yes, I would say our clientele is definitely getting older. Now, thankfully, we're seeing a lot of new interest, and there's a lot of organizations, including KAMO, but a lot of Pheasants Forever in the area and around the metro area that are really doing a good. I mean, they're doing their part on introducing the outdoors to the younger generation. Trap trap shooting is really big in Nebraska, and so
Okay.
there's a ton of kids that shoot trap, and I really hope that that will kind of spark their interest for hunting. Bird hunting has just been, it's, I would say it's definitely been on the decline, but thankfully, we've been pretty blessed and we do a lot of corporate stuff. And so we see a lot of younger people. It's just, there's just such a big variety. The actual diehard hunters are definitely getting older.
Hmm. What's your personal hunting story? When did you start hunting?
I don't even remember my first hunt. Let's put it that way. So my mom and dad both hunted, and I'm from central Nebraska. It's kind of south. It'd be south central, and a small town called Harvard, Nebraska. And it was really a great place to grow up. There was a lot of CRP ground. There was a lot of wildlife management areas, and then we had farming ground and had a lot of CRP as well. So it was my first hunt was actually a deer hunt, and I went with my dad, and it was a bow hunt. And I can still remember my dad telling me, like, he put me on his back, he taking his bow through the woods, and he said, I kept saying, "Dad, I hear one. I hear one," and he didn't have a chance in the world to shoot a deer with a bow with taking me. And so he said I was around 3 or 4. So it was pretty cool to be in the woods at that early of an age. And I just have it in my blood.
Oh, that's awesome. So I have a five, he just turned 5 last week, and a 6-year-old, and we've been hunting this year for all kinds of birds. We went grouse hunting, pheasant hunting, goose hunting, duck hunting, and we went bow hunting for deer. And I will tell you that the hardest creature on planet Earth to harvest is a white-tailed deer while sitting on the ground, hunting with a bow and arrow with 2 kids under the age of 6. I mean,
Yeah,
I can
your
tell you,
chances.
oh my goodness, there's so many times. At one time I was ready to pull back. I literally had needed that deer to take a couple steps, and then it was going to be in a spot where I could pull back without it seeing me. And I go, don't move, don't move. And what did my boys do? They
They
couldn't move
pop
me.
up.
They stuck their head right through the window to look at it, and they were just as scared as the deer because they both jumped when they saw each other.
it's
The
it's
deer
like the
both.
it's like the duck hunter that we say, don't look up, and
Yeah,
everyone looks up.
I should have told them to move, and maybe they would have said. And then I go, boy, they can really see you well, can't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So just those memories out there. I'm hoping, just like you got to experience it early in life. I'm hunting experiences as possible, and hoping that as they get older, it's going to translate into them wanting to be out in the field as well. So how did you get into this line of work then, where you're now operating a very large hunting lodge?
This is a pretty long story, and I'll try to make it as short as possible. But like I said, I grew up hunting. I shot my
Mhm.
first pheasant at like 8, shot my first duck at 9, and my first goose at 10, my first deer at 12. I mean, so like I was out in the outdoors. I was very blessed to be able to go right out after school, getting off the bus, and go shoot 1 or 2 birds like in the backyard, basically. And so I was very, very fortunate. So I've always had the love for it. I was also, another big part of my life was wrestling, and so I went to college to wrestle, and I wrestled 5 years in college. The problem with wrestling was it was during the hunting season, but I did love it. I went to a small NAI school in northeast Nebraska here in Blair, and I started when when I went there. I majored in elementary education, special ed, and coaching. And I thought what I wanted to do was be a teacher and a wrestling coach. And my wife and I got married my junior year of college. which no, there was not a baby on the way. We were just old school. We got married early, and she was a cosmetologist, so she was bringing in a little bit of income while I was wrestling, working part time, and hunting. But I had a couple labs, and I've always grown up with dogs. I've had German Shorthairs and Labradors, but primarily Labradors, and so they've always been my first love of dog. If you ask me now, it might change a little bit, but I've always had labs, and so I started to get in the hunt test world as just a just a general handler and running my two labs. And I had a guy tell me at a hunt test. He came up to me, and I was holding a puppy at the time. It was one of my dogs, and he said, "Do you have a pro trainer?" I said, "No, sir." I said, "I'm trying to get into this hunt test world." He says, "You don't have a pro trainer?" I said, "No, sir." He says, "Do you have a lot of money?" I said, "I don't have a lot of money either." And he says, "You won't make it in this game." And me being the person I am, and I'm very type A, obviously, but that made me work really hard at training my two labs to get them to a level where I would be known for something. And so I started dog training part time, as well as going to college, as well as being married and working as well. So I started early, and it was kind of a blessing. This hunt club called Pheasant Bonanza was only about 35 minutes from where I was living at the time. And so I would go up there and guide, and I would train dogs part time. And right out of college, I went into sales for a year and a half, and it really wasn't my love. And so I was still training dogs part time, and we had a baby on the way. And the guy that owned it at the time brought me in, and I was 24 years old. And he said, "I want you to run Pheasant Bonanza." And I said,
Wow.
I'm 24 years old. I mean, it was at that time, it was a big club in Nebraska. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I said, but let me talk to my wife. And so I went home. Now this is what I would not advise to anybody. This was on a Thursday. We were going in to have a baby on a Friday. And I told her on that Thursday afternoon I wanted to do this. And I wasn't very receptive. I basically said, "I want to do this. Are you supportive?" And she's like, "I just want to have a baby." I said, "Here's the problem. I have to give him notice by Monday."
Oh,
And so she was working, we were in a rental house, and she was working on the baby room and this and that. She's like, "You want to move me from here in 2 weeks if you take this job?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." I was, super jacked up about it. And so anyway, she gave me her blessing. We had our firstborn, Jagger. And on Monday, I went in and gave a 2 week notice to my current boss in the sales job, and we moved up here 2 days to the date, and we've been up here ever since. So I would not advise that, but that's just how I got started up here.
wow. You're a brave man. There's a lot of hormones going on in a woman's body during that time period. So bless
Trust me,
her for trusting you. And
if I would do that, if I would do that now after 16 years of being married, she'd tell me, where to go. So yeah,
well,
it's
life,
we were very newlywed, 2 years into our marriage, and she gave me her blessing. And there's obviously a lot of things I would have done different. I wasn't being a thoughtful husband and this and that, but I was chasing a dream, and that's how I got here. So that's my story.
oh, that's cool. I mean, life is a fun journey, and you get to look back on it. I try to just do my best to appreciate, all of these seasons. And I mean, that's an exciting one for you and your wife. I'm glad it's worked out. So at your operation now, how many dogs do you guys have?
So we have 30 guide dogs, and
Okay.
we also do a lot of training. And training is it's definitely our second biggest part of our business. Hunting is obviously number one. The dog training and dog sales is number two.
Okay.
And we will train any hunting breed. We've actually trained non-hunting breeds for obedience as well. But primarily in our kennel, if you walk through it, it's going to be primarily German Shorthair and Labradors.
Gotcha. And why? Why are those breeds?
Remember what I told you about my upbringing?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's
It
no,
stuck with
it's
you?
no. Truly, um, we've like I said, I've been introduced to German Shorthairs early and Labradors even before that, but I've always had great luck with them. They work well for our club. Now we've just introduced. We do have one wire hair in the kennel, and we have one English cocker that we're trying out a new English cocker, but primarily, I mean, out of those are the only two non-German Shorthair or Labrador breeds in the kennel right now. And we will take, like I said, for dog training, we have trained Munsterlanders, Spinonis. I mean, Drothar. We've trained them all. You know, the Golden Doodles, the Labradoodles. You know, all of them. So
Well, oh man, I have probably a couple hundred questions for you about dog training. So maybe we'll come back another time and we'll talk dog training. Are you cool with that?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that like I said, that's how I got started.
Hmm.
Fortunately, I still get to be a little bit part of it, but we have two full-time trainers right now, and so I don't get to do as much dog training as obviously. I mean, I'm running the business, so it's I leave a lot to them, but I do get a help when there's some issues that come up, or there's just a they hit a roadblock and they just want some more tricks or trades, you know. So
Yeah.
it's been a big love of mine my whole life. So
One of the most common mistakes you see people make with their dogs in the field. Let's go with it. One question, if I can. What is it?
overhandle,
Yeah.
overhandle. They over talk to their dog. They over whistle. They overstimulate. Those dogs need to know what they're doing before. I mean, and they wonder why they can't get a dog to get pushed out, you know, to go out and hunt. You haven't shut up to your, you know, you haven't not said anything to your dog ever since you entered the field. I mean, that dog's nervous. It's coming back to you because you're talking to it, you're whistling. Let the dog hunt. So
What if the
I'm just
dog
gonna say
wants to?
overhandle. That's I see that so much, and we get a lot of guests that bring
Mhm.
dogs, and we love it. I mean, I get it. Like dogs are why I hunt. Just like you said earlier, they are the reason I hunt. I love dogs. I mean, they're my love.
Yeah.
Do I need to shoot a bird? No. I mean, I love shooting, but I want to see the dogs work. I want to see them do what they've been bred to do.
Yeah. Um, Gosh, yeah, we're gonna have to do a full dog training
We
show.
could do that. That's my passion too. So
Cool. Okay, so the name Pheasant Bonanza, kind of speaks for itself. But you guys also have quail, is that correct? And you do waterfowl hunts as well.
we do. Yes, we have a few other species, but we do wild waterfowl. You know, they're
Hmm.
free range, obviously, and migrating.
Yep.
Nebraska waterfowl on the eastern side, we're along the Missouri River, and we have a blind that's 200 yards off of the Missouri, and then we have one that's about 2.5 miles off of the Missouri River. And they're duck lakes, and then there's corn around them and stuff like that. But it really takes a good push to be consistent in Nebraska. We just have it like today. You know, there's a lot of days that it's, you know, 40, 50 degrees
Hmm.
and the birds have been here for a while. They're a little stale. They've been shot at. So it's tough to produce quality waterfowl hunts all the time in eastern Nebraska.
So upland's your specialty then?
Yeah, and you know, if we have groups all the time, like I mean, we just had a group. Shoot, they were from North Dakota, which is kind of funny. They were here during a migration, and they went out and the group shot 40 ducks in the morning. I mean, they had the best morning ever. And then we'll have some groups that they might not fire a shot, so it's really up and down. And when a group comes here and they want to do a combo hunt, I tell them that we're going to give them the best report possible for the last few days,
Hmm.
and please have in your mind that you might be pheasant hunting or upland hunting twice a day versus doing the waterfowl in the upland. Now, if they choose to go down there and you know on a slow day, that's up to them. I mean, it's still an experience. We have heated pit blinds. The guides do an amazing breakfast, and the sunrise is just beautiful coming over the Missouri River basin there.
Oh yeah. Sunrise from the duck blind is really, really
Um,
tough to beat. But unfortunately, yeah, if you're really at the mercy of the migration when it comes to
right,
waterfowl.
right.
A few weeks ago, you opened the doors generously to Mr. Ron Shera, and he told me a few stories. Can you confirm or deny that he actually hit a pheasant?
I actually saw Ron shoot a couple clay birds from the hip. I was super impressed with Ron.
Really? From the hip?
Yes,
Was it an
from
accident?
the hip. He was showing off.
So he actually
He
told me
was
about this.
showing off.
Okay, so here's a true story. So last week on our podcast, I had Scott Carlson from Carlson Choke Tubes on the show.
Hmm.
And if listeners didn't catch that episode, I highly recommend going back to listen to it because Scott Carlson gave us some really, really, really good shotgunning advice. And Ron Scher has always said that Scott Carlson is the best shot that he's ever seen in the field. Ron Scher has been hunting with people for like 50 years. And he always, last Friday, I'm in the office gearing up to hit the road. And he said, Trent, he said that you are the best shot he's ever seen in the field. He said, you never missed a single shot the whole time. He said, you did not miss a single shot. He goes, I've never seen anything like it. And then he told me that you're a trick shooter and you taught him how to shoot from the hip. So how in the world did you teach that old dog a new trick?
Well, let me tell you a quick story. So when Ron came up and we did our introduction, we always size up people, is to kind of just start. I mean, we gotta get to know our clientele.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot about him, and I've had a few people tell me, "Oh, you got Ron coming up there. He's famous, and he's from here, and he wrote for the Tribune for the." And I just, I just haven't done all my research. And so the first thing Ron tells me is, hey, I have a bad eye, and right away, I'm thinking, oh, excuses. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
This guy, he's
He
already
is, for
coming
the
up with
record.
excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the record,
So,
he is the king of them.
yeah. So I was like, okay, here we go. This guy's already coming up with excuses. But when we were hunting, and especially even the first two hunts, Ron was actually shooting lights out. And I'm not trying to bring him up or anything. And he didn't pay me anything to say this, but he actually was shooting lights out. And then I think he might have just been getting a little bit tired at the end. He was starting to mess a little bit more. But we had a lot of hunts. We ended up doing 5 hunts, and I took him up to the Indian reservation and walked him up in the hills. I mean, I walked the heck out of him, and he really did do good, especially like I said, the first 2 days. And he might have used a couple excuses on the last day for a couple
Yeah.
misses.
Too much wind, not enough wind, too much sun.
Yeah,
in
it
the
was
eyes.
windy.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard them all. But no, I'll tell him that you're building him up. He'll like that. But he
No, I was
did say that
impressed.
you're a trick shooter, right? So how did this come about?
So everything that I've, even done and started, and just like KAMO, I've always had a passion for getting new people in the outdoors. And I grew up when Tom Knapp and Tim Bradley, and even before that, there was a couple guys, but those guys were kind of the trick shooters when I was growing up. And I really admired them. And then we started doing a couple hunts a year
Mm-hmm.
with Tim Bradley. And I kept picking his brains, like, how do you do it? This and that. I feel like I could do this. And he's like, well, then do it. And he just basically said, go out and do it. And I always felt pretty confident shooting from the hip. And there was a few shots like shooting over the head and behind the back that I had a few issues with. And he goes, it's the same for everything. It's just, pick your focal point and this and that. And long story short, I really, I got pretty decent at it. And so I started doing small groups like Pheasants Forever, Ducks Unlimited, a lot of youth groups,
Mm-hmm.
National Wild Turkey Federation, and trying to get kids like just intrigued with the outdoors. Like, whoa, that's pretty cool stuff. And I do a little bit of an explosion, shoot from the hip. I do a little
Wait,
bit of
a little bit of
22.
an explosion.
Yeah, I knew that was going to come up. We got to be quiet about this one. No, I'm just kidding.
No, tell me
But
more.
yeah, we have a little concoction that we make, and it always wakes them up. Let's put it that way. It warms everyone up and wakes them up. But I do make sure everyone has eye and ear protection.
Wow.
But
Did Ron
here's the
blow
quick.
anything up when he was there?
No, I didn't let him blow anything up. We were up on the
Oh.
Indian reservation when he was shooting from the hip, and it's a lot of grassland up there. And I didn't want to start a fire. It's been pretty dry here, and so we were up on top of a hill. It's really pretty up there, and and we were shooting clay targets. We didn't get to blow anything up.
Well, I want to come down and hunt with you because I wouldn't mind blowing something up.
We can do it. It's always something fun that we do with some groups too. But yeah, anyways, get back to that. I just did a trick shooting show not too long ago for Pheasants Forever group, and they were super young hunters, like 12 years of age. And a lot of these kids just don't have the knowledge that maybe you or I had growing up. Like I knew every caliber that was made at that time, and I knew the difference between shotguns and rifles and rimfire and stuff like that. Well, I was doing a few trick shots with a 22, with just a 22, and we have a controlled shooting area here, and I knew what was behind me, so I was shooting targets up in the air. I was shooting from the hip, and with the 22, and then I got into shooting like a marble and a cherry tomato. And one of the dads, I mean, I didn't have any response from the kids. I'm like, you guys are a tough crowd. One of the dads goes, they don't know the difference between a 22 and a shotgun. So I had to explain that to them. And I started thinking, is like, well, yeah, that's not that impressive if you don't know the difference between a 22 and a shotgun. So it was just kind of a funny story on, we just need to do, I would love to see hunter safety in the school curriculum.
Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
I would love it.
So there are programs outdoor, shooting. I'm in Minnesota here where I am. My local schools have an outdoor club, and I've spoken at those before and done stories on them. And it's kind of growing in the schools here. And they take them hunting, they take them fishing, they take them to do all these different outdoor experiences, which is phenomenal. But the gun safety is still a separate entity. You have to go through the state program, not the school program, even though they have trap shooting now in the schools. And like you said, you mentioned it earlier, how popular it is where you are. It's same up here. And the beauty is that there's just as many girls as there are boys in it, that's something that I think
love
we
that.
can be excited about. Yeah. And then it's just getting them into those outdoor spaces to walk and see, wild birds get up and escape, and the paths they take, and trying to get close enough to take a good shot. And then that intrigue keeps building from that point. But so with all of your shooting skills, what advice do you have for a hunter that just wants to become a better shot in the field?
Both eyes open and bring the gun up to your cheek. Don't bring your head down to the gun. Bring the gun up.
Yeah, Scott
Carlson.
Carlson.
We see it all the time. Like guys and gals both, they look up, and their guns come up. You look up, your head's off the gun, you're gonna shoot. You're gonna shoot over. And then miss in front is one thing I always tell people is like, you think that you're going to miss it because you're in front, go ahead and try. Miss in front of that bird. Our brain doesn't want us to lead birds.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good advice. Scott Carlson last week, he was talking over and over and over again about patterning your shotgun. He goes, most people have no idea what their gun shoots with the load that they're shooting. They don't fire the gun and actually get a good gauge as to what that particular load is doing with that choke in the gun. And that was his biggest piece of advice over and over. And then the second one he said was, slow down a second. People just throw the gun up and boom, boom, and they're done. Yeah. The bird is still within range. If they would have just taken just a second to make sure that, like you said, your gun is all the way up and your line is right, you'd hit a lot more.
You're right. And I've always used the 4 Bs, and I don't know who even created it, but it's butt, body, beak, bang. And if you look at every shot as of basically a 1, 2, 3 bang, that's going to help you break more targets. But getting back to that too on the patterning, I was giving shooting lessons 2 days ago, and the individual I was giving shooting lessons to didn't understand that a shotgun had so many BBs in it. And so we broke it down. We shot the patterning paper, and it's like, wow, I mean, that's where you really realize where your pattern is.
What do you think? I think I would say a lot of hunters are probably using for pheasants a number. Let's just say with Prairie Storm ammunition from Federal, that number 5 load, 3-inch shell out of a 12 gauge shotgun. what distance do you feel like that shot is lethal on a pheasant?
It's all relative on the person too, but I'm going to say, they shouldn't be shooting outer of 45 yards is, that's just me. I mean, that's where I look at it, but I'm a big proponent on shooting 2 3/4 prairie storm or, whatever it might be. But I love 5 shot, just like you said, but I
Mm-hmm.
just don't like to see a lot of birds crippled. And so that's
Yep.
why it's all kind of relative to the person, their experience, how good of a shot they are. Because, we get a lot of individuals that take a lot of long shots, and then we're chasing a lot of crippled birds. And I would say that's about outwards of that 40 to 45 yards. Outside of that, they're taking those long shots, and you can still hit a bird. It's just you're not going to have that whole shot string on it.
Hmm. So you're a trick shooter, you run a hunting lodge, but you also started a life-changing organization called KAMO, which you touched on a couple times earlier. We're going to get into that in just a second. But first, our friends in North Dakota want to remind everyone that their bird numbers are up this year, which will give you plenty of chances to test your shotgunning skills. If you don't trust them or you don't trust me, just ask anybody that you know that has hunted in North Dakota this season. I have not heard a single bad bird hunting report from North Dakota this year, and I'm guessing that you probably haven't heard one or won't hear one either. According to North Dakota's annual roadside counts this year, their pheasants observed per 100 miles are up 38%, sharptails are up 54%, and Hungarian partridge are up 45%. And I would actually say those numbers are probably a little bit low from what I've seen. Plus, with an estimated 4 million breeding ducks, up 18% this year, North Dakota's central region is prime habitat for both hunting waterfowl and upland birds. Plus, North Dakota has more than 700,000 acres of private land open to public walk-in hunting. For the latest plots guide, visit the North Dakota Game and Fish Department or legendarynd.com. I use Onyx Maps just like I use my Lowrance graph in my boat. I have the Onyx app open constantly while I'm on the road in search of publicly accessible places to hunt. Just like my sonar in my boat reveals a fish while I'm on the water, the Onyx maps reveal places that I can legally hunt and gives me aerial views to show places where the birds are likely holding. It's become the most valuable hunting tool in my arsenal because I hunt all over the country and I hunt a lot of public lands that I've never walked on before. Onyx maps give me peace of mind knowing that I'm always standing on public ground or land that I have permission to be on, and I can check my location while I'm walking in the field. I also have an Onyx chip in my Garmin Alpha GPS dog tracking system, so I can watch where I'm walking and my dog is running while we're in the field at the same time. It overlays the information on my handheld device just like the maps on my phone. I take Onyx maps with me in the field every single time I go hunting, period. No more searching slowly online for information or big bulky atlas maps while I'm scouting. With the Onyx app, everything I need to know is right at my fingertips. That includes private landowner names in case I want to stop and ask permission or give them a call. Download the Onyx app right onto your smartphone and take it everywhere with you in the field. Onyx Maps, the best tool for hunters that want to know where you stand. So, Trent, you started a nonprofit organization called KAMO, which is spelled KAMO. What does that stand for?
So it's kind of just a cutesy way. The K was K9, like kind of like the um, military or top dog, but K9,
Mm-hmm.
adoption for the A, mentoring outdoors for the MO. So K9 adoption, mentoring outdoors is what the KAMO stands for.
Gotcha. What is the organization? It's a nonprofit organization, but what do you guys do?
So what we're doing is I saw a big need for this right away when I came to this hunt club and kind of got involved in the hunting industry for an occupation. And on the sporting dog side, there's thousands of dogs each year that get euthanized because they're either getting retired from hunting and guiding or they don't have what it takes to become a gun dog. And there's many other purposes, for these dogs. And I'm not gonna say like when I first came here, like we had to clean out the kennel and like I mean that just pulls at the heartstrings. I'm like, oh, we got to find places that and I was getting a lot of pressures. Like you got your kennel's full, and at the time when I came here, I mean there was multiple dogs in each kennel, half of them hunted, half of them didn't, and it was just like, well, we're not taking them to get euthanized, And
Hmm.
what I found out was a lot of places do just. I mean, I'm not saying it's unethical. I'm just saying that there's other ways to get rid of these dogs. And so I really saw the need right away when I came here. And then the other thing I see is when somebody gets a dog, and it might be the 4th of July, or it might be that they shot over the dog too early, but it's a one family dog or one dog family. And maybe the family says, hey, we can have one dog, that's it. And then this dog doesn't hunt. And so then they're kind of committed. I mean, they are committed to this dog up until, the end of its time, which could be 12, 13 years.
Hmm.
And what I was seeing is I was getting a lot of calls and like, do you know anybody that would take this dog? We don't want to drop it off at the Humane Society, and we want to start with a new hunting dog, and we want to do it right this time. And so I really just saw the need. And then on the other side is I was getting a lot of calls, especially with the generation like the millennials and some of the younger generations. A lot of them are adopting instead of shopping, and we were getting a lot of calls for dogs that maybe didn't make the cut as a hunting dog. And I said, you know what? There's a need here. And one other thing to add to that is I was getting a 2, 3 calls every month on some people or on some elderly folks that maybe just lost their significant other, and they wanted a dog that was going to be retired soon, that still had 2, 3, 4 years left of life, but couldn't make the guide string. And they just wanted a dog to basically put their head up on their lap, and or just be kind of like a rug for them, like just kind of be by the door and just keep them company. And as well as I do, I mean, like, dogs are the happiest. I mean, like, they
Yeah.
bring your spirits up. If you're mad when you see a dog, I mean, there's something wrong with you.
Right.
And so I saw that need, and I was like, gosh dang it, I really want to start something. And I didn't want to take all these dogs to the Humane Society. And so I started just kind of rehoming them on my own. And I thought, you know what, this is a nationwide need. And so I started reaching out. I teamed up with some folks at Orvis, and we've worked with a few people down south. But to date, what the cool thing is we've adopted out 14 dogs since last summer. And only 3 of those dogs have been like ties to our club. Everything else has been outside.
Hmm. So the mission statement on your site, I'm looking at it. It's KAMO stands for Canine Adoption and Mentoring Outdoors. It is a 501c3 nonprofit organization committed to rescuing dogs and finding them new homes, as well as outdoor mentorship for individuals. So, knowing that this is your mission, how do you find the dogs, and how do you find the people?
Yep. So that's a good question. So we're so new, and that's one of the reasons. Like, I'm doing a lot of outreach and trying to get on a few different you know podcasts or websites and stuff like that. But just the getting the word out, because we have over 10 requests for dogs, but we only have one dog that we're working with right now. So we're actually in need of dogs.
Hmm.
The neat thing about that is we have. I mean, as soon as we get a dog in, we do have one right now. She's a German Shorthair female. We just had her spayed, but she has a little bit of an aggression issue towards other female dogs. We think maybe, with getting her spayed, we have been doing a lot of obedience with her. We might be able to get her through this, and if we can, she'll get adopted out. But a lot of the dogs that come in, we can give them like a 2 week tune up, and just kind of get their manners back in check and adopt them out right away. And we've done a couple direct adoption, but like I said, we're in need of dogs right now because this is our mission. And if dogs aren't coming through the program, then my question is what's happening to them. So
Hmm.
yeah, we're just trying to get the word out right now, and that's
So,
the whole dog side. And obviously the mentoring outdoors is just
mhm.
as important, and so it's kind of a dual nonprofit.
Well, I want to get to the mentoring part in a second, but what kind of dogs are you looking for? Any dog breed?
Yeah, any dog breed. I mean, we've been focusing on the sporting dog, and
Hmm.
we get a lot of labs. We get a lot of short hairs. We actually had a Lachon. Never even heard of it before, but we had a Lachon and it was not a sporting dog, but we adopted it out in 2 days. So I mean, it's just we're kind of there for any breed, any situation. We just want to give this dog a chance and give somebody a chance to adopt this dog so that they can continue, this dog can continue its life.
Gotcha. So once you bring a dog in, typically, I know you said the LaShawn was a 2 day
Yeah,
training period, but
it was a
I'm
little,
assuming
LaShawn is a little toy. It's a little, little dog.
like a purse
It
dog.
would even, yeah, it's like, uh, she didn't even fit in our kennel, so we had to keep her in the office. She was so little.
Can you can you train one of those little tiny dogs just like you can
Yeah.
a
Hey,
hunting
the
dog?
Garmin e-collar did not fit very well on this dog. No, I'm just kidding with you. We didn't have no. This dog was very well mannered. It was just a situation where the owner took a job traveling and was a single owner, and
Mm.
thought the best route was for us to find a home for this dog. So.
I can't imagine the stories you've heard from the new owners that have adopted the dogs. I mean, do you have any that stand out to you?
Yeah, what's so neat about it is I thought, with COVID, that was one of the other reasons that we are clean out of dogs is during COVID, as you probably talked to a lot of people in the dog industry.
Mhm.
I mean, we had so many requests because people were at home, they had time, there was no sports, they wanted some responsibility for their kids and for their family. And so we could have adopted out, like I said, we could have adopted out another 10 to 20 dogs if we would have had them at the time, and thankfully, we did what we did. But yeah, the coolest, I would say the coolest situation is, and there's actually two neat ones, but one, we sent a dog down to Austin, Texas, and the individual had he's autistic, and the dog gets to go to school with him every day. And so it was a German short hair. It was a dog that was gun shy, was actually bird shy, wasn't going to make a hunting dog for a long, long time with a lot of work. And so we had this dog come in, we adopted it out, and this dog now gets to go. We get the Christmas card every year, and this dog gets to go to school with this young individual. And to me, I mean, like I said, my education background and special ed background, it's a testimony to changing lives with these pets.
hmm I did a story this fall um, with Sam Daly, and he's got a kennel in Minnesota. Started a nonprofit called Believe Vet,
Hmm.
VET, and he trains service dogs for soldiers suffering from anxiety and PTSD. And it's incredible the work that he's doing with these dogs to train them. They're companions for these vets, but let's say somebody has night terrors in the middle of the night. The dog is trained to see that and to go flip on the light switch to wake up his owner
Hmm.
and comfort them and get them out of those nightmares that they're suffering with. I mean, that's just one of the many examples of what the dogs do. But I talked with several of these vets. We spent a few days together pheasant hunting a couple weeks back, and just what that dog has done for them. A lot of them were on medications, a lot of different drugs um, to try to help them with the anxiety, with the stuff that they were suffering from, and they were able to step back from a lot of the drugs that they'd been prescribed just because of what that dog has done mentally for them. And it's just an amazing, amazing testament to what dogs do for people. Every year, I meet people that have stories just like what you're telling me about how that dog changed the life of a kid or another person. And I don't know how to give any more credit to our four-legged friends because
Oh man,
they're just incredible creatures. Not only can they smell a bird potentially hundreds of yards away and stop it from running and hold it there so we can walk up and then grab it after we shoot, but they can change the lives of people. And
absolutely.
I'm really happy to hear what you are doing, the organization, because you're changing lives by allowing people to have a dog that changes theirs, and it's a beautiful thing. How
I
do
need
you?
to. Oh,
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I need to meet this guy too, because one thing I was going to tell you too is with veterans, we only have like a $200 adoption fee, but we even waive that fee for a vet because there's a lot of good fits for these dogs with veterans, and we really want to. I mean, we're very thankful for what they've done for our country, and we want to reward them if they want, and if a dog's a good fit for them, we waive that adoption fee for them.
That's very very generous. So
And
I
on
guess
the
if
other
somebody
side, and
wants,
I'll make this quick too.
yeah,
Ron actually interviewed one of our gentlemen that adopted one of the dogs, and this dog came in. Dog's name was Gunner. Came in um, from an individual. It wasn't, or from excuse me, from a hunt club, and this dog just wasn't making. It was a good dog. It wasn't a standout, and it was just kind of more of a better alone than with a pack. And so we evaluated this dog. Really did find out that this dog just hunts a lot better being by itself than with another pack, and it wasn't aggression. This gentleman that just lives south of Omaha came out and adopted this dog, and he was interviewed from Ron, and it's really a neat story. That I mean, this dog gets to go hunting twice a week through hunting season. Family dog, lives on a bed. I mean, I'm just like, I mean, just tears at your heartstrings. Like, man, this dog would have just been sitting in a kennel for quite some time if this dog wouldn't have been adopted out. So,
oh,
super, super happy about that too.
yeah. God bless dogs. God bless dogs, and God bless the work that you're doing down there right now. How does the mentorship program work? I mean, that aspect it sounds like is separate from the dogs.
Yeah, there's some confusion. Like a lot of people think that the dogs are used for the mentorship, and they can be, but the whole mentoring part is it's almost like like Pheasants Forever and Ducks Unlimited, how they have their programs for introducing new individuals to the outdoors. We to date we've been able to help. We've actually done about 12 or 13. I haven't got the exact count. I know it's at least 12 youth upland hunts. We've done 10 target shooting, like just donated our clays, donated the shells, let them use a gun, got them involved with some target shooting. We've done 3 youth fishing trips, and we've done 1 youth deer hunt. And we're not all about the youth. Like, I am all for if somebody's 50, 60, 70 years old, I don't care. If they want to learn about the outdoors and they want to apply for one of our scholarships that we're doing, I'm all for it. Our biggest thing is like, if you haven't been introduced in the outdoors, let us give you a taste of what that can be like. I mean, a lot of our focus is on youth, but that's just
Mhm.
because it's going to be a long term investment. And
Yeah.
we absolutely love every one of our board of directors that has a passion for getting individuals introduced in the outdoors. And it might be money reasons. It might just be that they might have grown up in a city in an apartment and never had the opportunity to step outside into a field. And for me, the more people that we can introduce to the outdoors, that's the whole mission for that, for the mentoring part.
Oh, it's cool. And I know there's a lot of organization towards the youth, and it's needed more than ever today. But I will say that I'm glad to hear that you guys will encourage adults to get into it and try it too, because they in turn, I know of several adults that got into hunting late in life that are just difference makers in this world right now because they are on fire for it.
Yep.
And they are influencing dozens and dozens of other people's lives and growing the hunting community. And these are hunters that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s that never hunted a day in their life, but now they're taking others out and showing them the outdoors. And I just say, oh gosh, you guys rock so much. I love what you're doing. How do we get everybody else to just be this much on fire for introducing others? And it's almost because they got it. It's like they didn't even know what they were missing. And now that they've experienced it, they're so passionate about it, and they just want others to experience what they've missed. So they almost take a different priority to the hunt than somebody who's had it their whole life.
I see that too, and I think that's a home run. Just like you said, I mean, it's like so I grew up wrestling, and sometimes the best wrestlers were the ones that didn't get started till later in life because they didn't get burnt out. And I 100% agree with you on that. The outdoorsmen that learned later in life, I mean, and especially women, like if you can get ladies involved, that gets a whole family involved.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I walked with my wife last week in the field, and it was just so refreshing. We didn't bring the kids on this one. It was just her and I. We made a date of it.
Hmm.
Guys, if you have the opportunity to bring your wives hunting with you, do it. Do it. I know we love walking the field with our dog in that one-on-one time, but bring your wife so she can see what your dog is doing out there. Oh my goodness, it's going to change your hunting world to have your wife, your best friend, a part of it. I promise you. I promise you. It may be extra
Mike,
work, but it's worth it.
it might give you a few extra kitchen passes too.
It will. It absolutely will. And then when you bring those birds home, there's an extra appreciation because they were a part of it. They know what that means to go out in the field and work to get it. And then to cook it, you just take care of it better because you've gone through the effort of getting it. You didn't go through the effort of pulling into the parking lot, walking in and grabbing it off a shelf. You busted your butt out there. You see the full circle and everybody can enjoy it together. It's a beautiful thing. All right, I'm rambling now, but I really do. I mean, we still have hunting season left. The opportunities are still there. Don't pass on them. Don't pass on them. That's all I'm saying. Trent, if somebody feels inspired to help, I hope they do. But what's the name of your website? Is it KAMO.org?
It's actually KAMO Inc, like
Okay.
KAMOINC.org.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I'm looking at it again right now. It gives people options to connect with you or partner or to adopt.
Yeah,
Cool.
right on the front page, there's if you feel led to donate, and I know times are tough right now, and
Mm-hmm.
just for future, if people when they do have the budget, if they would think about us, we're trying to fundraise right now for a new building, a new dog shelter and office, and that way we can separate. Right now, we're renting 5 kennels from Pheasant Bonanza, and I just really want to separate it. It's really Pheasant Bonanza has been donating them, but I'd really like to separate it just so it's a separate entity. So
Makes sense. I'm glad that you have the ability to do what you're doing. Looking forward to the rest of the hunting season. I know you've got to get into the field here shortly, so I'll let you go. But what's the rest of your year look like? And is there still possibility for people to come and hunt with you down there at Pheasant Bonanza?
yes, there is. So we hunt until April 15th. With
Okay.
winter coming, this winter's been amazing so far. I'm sure we're going to get hit in January and February, but that's typical. And what's cool about it is groups from down south, they love the snow and they love the cold, if they can go back down south. So
When they
we,
leave it.
we get a couple groups a year and they wait and they thankfully they get to fly in private, but they literally say, hey, looks like snow next week. Can you get us on the books? And they book when it snows. So, I mean, you know how it is hunting birds in the snow. It's actually pretty neat.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah, so we
amazing.
hunt until April 15th, and we have just under 5,000. We're at 4,900 acres, and
Okay.
so we might have to walk a little bit more, in the spring, but we will definitely find plenty of birds.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate everything you're doing. There's never been a better time to make a difference in someone else's life, and you just are doing it. So keep it up, Trent. Appreciate it. Hope the rest of your hunting season goes well, and you and your family stay safe and healthy, and your hunters fill their game bags.
Hey, thanks for having me on this podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Once again, thank you to North Dakota Tourism for helping us to make this show possible. To bag your limit this hunting season in North Dakota, visit legendarynd.com. And don't forget to download the Onyx map to help plan your hunting adventures and find those pieces of property that are open to the public and full of wild birds. Plus, if you're in need of gear for the hunt, stop into a local Shields store or visit them online at shields.com. Current episodes of The Flush are airing right now on the Outdoor Channel. Catch the action every week until the end of December, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. At the end of December, our season is over. It's a sad time, but all of our episodes will then be streaming on our YouTube channel. You can learn more about our shows, where to find them, where to watch them at theflush.tv. We'll be back next week, I believe, from the fields of South Dakota with another episode of the Flush Podcast.
These lakes hold a lot of stories, and all of them get better every time they're told. Because you've got 40-inch gators out there, giant Lakers, crappie, sunnies, and walleye. So many walleye. So get ready with the best from clam, otter, vexillar, hummingbird, garmin, 13 fishing, and many more. The Shields Ice Fishing Sale runs now through December 13th, in-store and online at shields.com. The ice is calling.